Welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast, the world's leading authority on childcare marketing, mindset, expansion, and profitability. Each episode will feature interviews with the brightest minds in the childcare industry to guide you into becoming a smarter business leader. Our hosts have opened 10 schools while raising 5 children. They are certified business coaches and are the top-selling childcare business book authors of all time. This episode is sponsored by Childcare Genius Marketing. Let Childcare Genius Marketing help you get fully enrolled and fully staffed. Visit childcaregenius.com for more details. Let's welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast our hosts, Brian and Carol Duprey.
Happy New Year. Welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast.
We're your hosts, Brian and Carol Duprey.
We're back. So excited to be back.
Yeah.
How are you?
I am awesome.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
2026. Can you believe it? Wow. Time just fly, doesn't it? Y2K was 26 years ago. You know, some of these young people don't even know what that was. We thought the world was going to end in 26 years ago, but it did not. We're glad you're here today. We're so excited to be starting off 2026 with a little bit of goal setting for you guys, because this is the time of year people start thinking about the year.
Right.
What do you want to accomplish?
Yeah.
You know, we always have big goals at the beginning of the year. And I'm reading a book right now, and in the book it talks about how you set a goal at the beginning of the year, and a lot of people don't really start working on that goal till November, December, and then they work real hard trying to get their goal in.
Or they start working on the goal and then they stop.
They stop, and nothing gets done. It goes
Yeah.
both ways, right? And studies show that the longer the goal is, the less chance likely you are going to achieve it. So we're going to give you some tips today on how to set goals for 2026 and how to achieve more than you've ever thought possible. It's something we teach our university students, how to plan in quarters instead of years, and we're going to talk about that a little bit today. Let's talk a little bit about weekly meetings with leadership. So this is one area when we start coaching a couple, we start looking, or single, or business partners, we start looking at what their cadence is, what their regular routine is for their meetings with their leadership team. Mm-hmm. And talk a little bit about our weekly cadence.
Well, we have a weekly leadership meeting, and we talk about what has happened in the last week. Everybody checks in, and then we talk about things that are going on with the company that we need to address and get a discussion on those, and anything in the near future that needs done. And then we set, if there's long-term things that we need to work on, we set plans for those, bite-sized plans for those to get them done.
Nice. Do a little bit every week.
Yeah.
So if you don't meet regularly with your leadership team, say, they're too busy to meet, you're going to get a whole lot less done. You're going to be a lot more unproductive in 2026.
And you won't be on the same page.
Oh, there's another thing, is getting on the same page. And if you're a multi-center owner, it is vital that all your directors, all your team leaders are on the same page with ownership or the admin team. That's all got to be singing the same tune and in sync and problem solving together as a company. It shouldn't be the owner like a dictator dictating everything going forward. Everybody should have equal input, and you should work as a team to get the job done. You need to also keep a scorecard.
Yes.
What's a scorecard on it?
Scorecards where you measure different things. It can be financials, it can be enrollment, staffing turnover, just about anything, whatever you want to keep track of, and you want your leadership team to keep track of, you put on the scorecard and you track it week to week so you can see your progress.
Yeah, it's very important to track this stuff. I started tracking this stuff in, I think, 2004 is when I started tracking enrollment by classroom, full and part-time enrollment. And I tell you, once I had a couple years of historical data, I started using that for prediction. I could predict when my enrollment was going to start going up or down, and I could use that for staffing hires. And it's better to work proactively than reactively. Proactively means you're going to make decisions without the benefit of the action already taking place. Me give you an example. We knew that we got a lot of kids in January of every year. So guess when I started hiring? November and December, because I knew they were coming. In a typical center, the enrollment comes in January and its owners are hiring in January and February, and you're behind the eight ball. That is what scorecard does. It allows you to get historical data, which in turn over time gives you trends. And those trends allow you to make decisions to be proactive. And we've done that for 15 years or so. And we teach now in our coaching program how to be proactive owners. What are some things you track in your scorecard with regards to financials?
Financials is like you can track who owes money, anybody that's more than, say, 100 or 200 behind. And the next week you see if that person's left behind, if they're getting caught up. Also, we track our funding children. We let everybody know any kids that are coming up on renewal so they can remind the parents. Otherwise, you have their contracts run out and they forget, and then you don't get paid for the kids. And staffing, we track like overstaffing, making sure that the directors are adequately staffing their centers.
Some other things you took training hours?
Training hours.
Make sure they get the state required amount of hours in.
CPR and first aid. We track our training hours by how many they should have per month. We divide the year by the month, and then all the directors check and see if they've added, say, 2.5 hours this month from last month.
See if they're ahead or behind where they should be.
Yeah.
That has helped significantly, making sure that our people get their training hours in.
Right.
Because if you don't stay up with them, they're gonna path the least resistance, right? And that happens a lot of times. So that weekly scorecard is very important, and everybody should bring their information to the meeting. Like directors should bring their enrollment numbers to the meeting. The number of tours they did the previous week, that number is very important because you got to look for trends. If you have 10 openings in your school, let's start doing some math. So that's the next thing I have on my list here to talk to you about is the enrollment in the tour map. If you have take the number of openings you have in your school and now multiply by 3. That's how many tours you need to do at least
minimum
to fill your school. Exactly, minimum. So if you have 30 openings in your spot, 90 tours should fill your school. Like, okay, how do I get 90 tours? That's where marketing comes in. So it's all about the math. Yeah. And the average director will recruit or bring in your program 1 out of 3 people that they tour. So the average conversion rate is about 33%. Some areas more, some are less, some directors are more, some are less. And a lot depends on how many openings you have. If you only have a couple openings in an infant room, doing a tour in a preschool room is going to throw your numbers off. So if you've got a bunch of openings, it'll work out to be about 1 out of 3 of eligible open spots that you're going to tour. That means 2/3 of the people are going to say no. As a director, you got to live with that. Most people are saying no, majority of. And it is not a rejection of you. To me, it's never a no. It's always a not now. Because a lot of people who tour go somewhere else, and 3 months later, they're in your program because they realize somewhere else wasn't that good. So no is not now, and you need to teach that to your directors. Very important. So no matter, take the number of spots you have, multiply that to times 3. That's the number of tours you need to do to fill that school. Again, if you're averaging about 3 or 4 tours a month and you have 90 tours you need to do, it's going to take you 30 months to fill that school. Or you can increase your marketing budget, get more tours in there to help fill the school. It's all about the math. And it's all about numbers. It's very simple. It's sales. Basically, sales 101 is marketing in. And some of you are just relying on word of mouth, which doesn't work anymore because people are selfish. They don't tell their friends about you unless you do something wrong. Then they're going to tell 1,000 people, right, on Facebook.
On Facebook.
But if something's going right, they don't tell anybody. So word of mouth is out. You got to be where they are, and they're all on social media. So you need to spend money on marketing. If you need a good place marketing, give us a call at Child Care Genius Marketing. We will get you in front of people and help you get those spots filled up for sure. But it's all about the math. and getting that number of tours in. And if you're only doing 4 tours a month now, double your marketing to get 8 in the door. Each enrollment's probably worth between $10,000 and $20,000 a year to you. Why wouldn't you spend a couple grand, even a month, to get that center full? Then you could lay off the marketing once you get it full. But each child is worth so much, and their lifetime customer value might be worth $60,000 to $100,000 or more. So if you could spend $1,000 to get somebody in that door that stays with you 5 years, and you get 100,000 revenue off them, that $1,000 was a nice 100-to-1 return on your investment. Very good. So do the math when it comes to that. Set those goals. Okay, we're going to do, and the reason this is a goal setting one is by using the math to set goals. If we know we have 30 spots to fill, we need to do 90 tours. We need to average 2 tours a week, right? If we average 2 tours a week, we're going to get those spots filled. But what if we want to get them filled in 6 months? We got to do 4 tours a week. What if we want to get them filled in 3 months? We got to do 8 tours a week. It all goes back to the math, and it never lies. And I hope this is helping. So set those goals for what you want to do. Set the time frame for what you want. Hold the directors accountable and have them bring those numbers in. And you'll promise you'll thank me come 2027 when the math starts working for you. All right, next I'm going to talk about is the slight edge. And with goal setting, you don't have to do big swings. For the annual budget, we're going to double our annual revenue. For the last 10 years, you've only increased 10% a year, but all of a sudden you're going to want to now hit a grand slam, and all you've been doing is getting singles, right? So sometimes you just got to do a little bit each week. You've got 52 weekly meetings. How about just trying to move the ball a little bit farther every single week, right? Like you just said a little bit before, is you try to bite-size things, right?
Right.
Explain that a little bit more, how you would bite-size something.
Well, like for getting children in, like Brian was saying, 2 tours a week. Don't look at, we need to do 90 tours. Look at, we need to do 2 tours every week. And for staffing, same thing. We need to have this many interviews this week to get 1 person hired so that we can get a teacher into this classroom.
Thank you for bringing that up, because that math works too. For every 3 interviews you do, you're going to hire 1 person, right? At least that's the math for most people. Some areas it might be more, some might be less. But as long as you know what your statistics are, and that's why it's important to keep your scorecard. We did 8 interviews. We got 1 qualified applicant that we hired. So if you know you're 8-to-1 and you're going to hire 3 people, you've got to interview 24 people. That means you need to spend a little bit more on your career plug or your Indeed or your ZipRecruiter, whatever your mechanism you do it, and you spend more to get that 24 in to get your number you want. Instead of complaining that we need 3 hires, go out and get 24 interviews, which means 21 people are going to say no.
Or you'll say no to them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, good point, Carol. That's even better. So don't complain about the 21 that say no. You need those 21 to say no. Find the good 3s to say yes. So start focusing on the positive. Forget about the negative. And I'm telling you, your whole year is going to be completely different by thinking about the math. The math never lies. And if you focus on that and realize that the no's are an important part of that process, you have to get them first. And then changes everything when it comes to strategy. So the slight edge means doing a little bit more each and every day or each and every week than you're doing now. Imagine just doing 1 tour extra a week. Your directors can do 1 tour a week for the next year. You can increase your marketing to get 1 tour extra a week. How much does math get that into? It equates to about 14 new children in your program at the end of the year, just by doing 1 extra. What would the revenue be on 14 new children in your program? $150,000, $200,000 a year? It's a big swing when it comes to that. And that's by getting 1 more a year, 1 more extra tour, and converting 1 out of 3. So it just works. The math works every time. All right, so set quarterly goals, not annual goals. Work in 12-week blocks. So the year has 4 13-week blocks. That works out to be 52 weeks. So if you set a 12-week goal, you're going to set a quarter, and then you give yourself 1 week off. and do that every quarter. That's what we do in our Child Care Genius University coaching program. We work what we call genius domains. We work with them quarterly. So we do a 12-week block, and then we take a week off, and then we do a 12-week block, and a week off. And I tell you, it's a book I'm reading called The 12-Week Year. It's all about getting more done in 12 weeks than you do in 52 now. So if you work on a 12-week block and really set goals, block your time out and be really intentional about getting those goals done, doing a little bit more each day. Each quarter has the same amount of days in it. Each 12-week block, you can accomplish a lot in that quarter for sure. All right, so you can set goals for a couple different things in that quarter. First one is profit. If you're an owner and you want to talk about what you could do in a year, profit's always a good thing. Profit is how you pay your people. Profit's how you expand. Profit's how you retire. There's a lot of things you use as a profit. And a lot of that goes back. 60% of every dollar comes in for most owners goes to the staff. So you need that. It's paid for with that. All right. Enrollment is a good thing to track and set goals for a quarter. What's our enrollment look like now? What do we want it to look like in a quarter? And when you set those goals, go back to the map. And in that map, know how many need to do, how many tours you need to do to break that enrollment down. How about staffing? Another big one. What would you do with staffing as far as setting goals?
You have to set goals for not only for how many staff you want to hire, but also staff retention. And maybe if you want to do bonuses to staff, you have to set some goals with, parameters for that. And I don't know what else.
No, that's good with staff, real good stuff. So, obviously you want to retain the quality staff that you have. You want to get rid of the people that are toxic and replace them, and setting goals for the quarter of what percent of really good employees you have, what percent of toxic employees, because you want to get rid of the toxic ones for sure. All right, how about a goal of personal development? All right, we send a book out every month to our members in our Child Care Genius University co-program. So we all read the same book the same month. We're all on the same page, and we're all working on personal development we're all growing together. So how many books are you going to read as an owner or a director in 2026? So if you're an owner, you should be buying the same book for your whole leadership team, and with a goal of reading one book a month. Something to do with leadership, something to do with management. They could read it on company time during their lunch hour or whatever, because it's part of their program. But it'll make them better people, better leaders. And if you're all reading on the same page, and don't be one of those directors say, you read it, it's for thee, not for me. That's not leadership. That's being a dictator. And it doesn't work in childcare. Because the owner, you need to be setting the pace and reading the same book. And we've done with our directors before is do a book study. Is the owners and the directors read the same book, the same chapter each week, and then you discuss it on your weekly meeting. So then we know everybody's starting to grow together. So the number of books you read is important. And then the last thing you want to set goals for is your relationship. Because your relationship at home, your family, your spouse, your significant other, your partner, if something's wrong at home, it's going to mess up into the business. So you need to set goals for the quarter. Tell them what's our weekly goal every week besides date night. Like, what do we do on our date nights?
We don't have our cell phones. We talk to each other, and Friday nights now we have a game night. We have no TV, no electronics. We
turn our phones off.
Yeah, we play pool or we play a board game or something where we can connect with each other.
Yeah, and it's very important for your relationship to have that downtime, date time. Oftentimes I go to a restaurant and I see a couple sitting there, and both of them are on their darn phones.
Yeah.
And you wonder why couples are drifting apart today because you lost your ability to connect. Carol and I are always together. One thing we're really good at is now, at least, is talking. She's my best friend. We talk every day. We work out together every morning for, an hour and a half to 2 hours. We break away a little during the day where she does her thing and I do mine, but we're in the same, space.
Yeah.
And we talk to each other all day long. And I love to hear about her day. I hope she likes to hear about mine.
I
And
can hear you through the wall. so-
she can hear me through the wall because I am a loud talker, being deaf as I am. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that relationship is just vital to making sure that you set your goals and achieve them in there. So having a relationship goals is very important. We're actually going to have an episode in the next couple of weeks. We're going to talk about how to work with a spouse or business partner. So we're going to go into this a little bit more in depth. So look for that. So we hope you like this episode where we talk about goal setting. Again, work on 12-week goals. Don't forget the math. Have a weekly leadership team meeting and just do a little bit more each and every week. Maybe just even a little bit more each and every day. I know some of you, this is January 6th, this episode is going to be airing. Some of you have already broken your New Year's resolution. We're 6 days in. Some of you said, I'm going to work out every day, and you've already not done it. So stop doing those New Year's resolutions, right? Every day is a new day. Resolve to do something different today, in the now. And if you all every day, every moment I'm talking to you is now. The only thing you're listening to me is in the now. If you're watching this or listening on any kind of podcast device, the only control you have over your life is right now. Can't control tomorrow. Can't control yesterday. Can't control what you're going to do in 5 minutes. The only thing you control is right now. What can you do right now to move your business forward? Set those goals, but act on them. Setting them is nothing without action, right?
Right.
You've got to put the action behind it, and you don't have to make big swings, right? Small hinges move big doors. Just do a little bit more each and every day. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Child Care Genius podcast. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
So you won't miss a future episode of the Child Care Genius podcast.
And hit the like too. And we'd love a review. If you like us, let us know. And if we can help you out, we offer a free coaching call if you've not done one in the last year. If we could help you in your program, if you're a center owner, just go to our website at childcaregenius.com and we'd be happy to help you out. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Child Care Genius podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. Don't forget to visit our website at childcaregenius.com to see a list of services we offer to help grow your childcare business. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the Childcare Genius community.